Good morning, YouTube. My name is NoNoNoah, and welcome to another episode of Wani, HUGGED that Gator. This is going on way further than I ever thought possible, but I'm totally okay with that. I just thought this was going to be a shorter experience is all, so I'm kind of baffled, but I'm totally into it, and I'm really sad that whatever we did last time pissed Olivia off, or at the very least made her disappointed in us. So anyway, history class is as bland as it usually is. Procline continues prattling on about some sort of historical event, but most of my attention is on Olivia. She has her hoodie over her head and she looks lost in thought. That altercation must have shaken her up more than I thought it would be. A part of me wants to ask if she'll be okay, even though I already asked 3 times already, but the last thing I'd want to do is prod at her. Soon enough, class nears its end and Olivia uses her accommodation to leave the class early. Besides, we can talk about it after school if she wants to anyway. The more I think about it, the more I realize that I had my first real confrontation with a bully at school. I'd heard once that when you get into a fight for your first time, you throw up from the adrenaline. No fists were thrown, but I feel about the same right now. I wring my hands together to try steadying them. Jeez, I'm a wuss. I stood up to Mia for Olivia and I end up in this mess. Yeah, well. The final class ends and I'm set free for the day. Stepping out of St. Hammond's main entrance, I'm surprised to see my friends huddled together in a tightly knit group. I usually don't see any of them after school. I always assume they left as soon as the bell rang. Hey guys, what's going on? Inko! Damien looks exceptionally worried as he glances at me. Inko, you believe me, right? Pardon? Olivia's nostrils flare with an exasperated snort. I didn't mean for any of it to happen. What's the matter, Damien? When Mia asked about that nickname stuff from so long ago, I just blurted it out. She didn't say she'd use it for something so unscrupulous. I'm ashamed it took me more than a moment to figure out what was happening. Guess Damien feels culpable for what Mia said, but why? You don't know what that word means. Who cares? Inko, really, I didn't mean for any of that to happen. I believe you, man. Your heart was in the right place. Olivia told us what happened with Mia, calling her some nickname. Damien leans back from over an unresponsive Olivia, hands spread in supplication. She said you were there too. I was, yeah. Olivia, you loved that nickname way back when we were kids. Damien's words were dismissed with the roll of her smoky eyes. He really didn't mean it, Olivia. I know already! For a split second, she bore row upon row of sharp teeth before gnashing her maw in frustration. Olivia's nostrils flare out with a huff of hot breath again, and I could practically see everything from her day finally begin to weigh on her. You were just being you again, Damien. Sometimes I wish you weren't, but whatever. There's a grittiness to her voice once more, but she continues on. She holds her canteen up to her lips, but drops it immediately. Empty again. The grit in her voice is back, but she presses on. And the nickname is just that, a nickname. I don't want to hear it again. Especially from her, and especially if it's going to get under my skin. Olivia stares at Damien for a while before breaking contact to gaze at Liz and I. Why not? What did I wait, did I say that? Why did I ask that? It just kind of came out. Liz notices Damien still organizing his thoughts. Seeing as neither of the others are going to answer coherently, she sighs. Well, I wasn't around for this, but when they were freshmen in middle school, Damien and Olivia would take the bus every weekend to an arcade in the city. I guess he came up with the nickname around then and it stuck. That's half right, but I didn't come up with it. I'd brought a chunk of change for us to play stuff with each other. A match on just about everything there was a quarter, probably still is. But I don't think I won even once. Once she stood to win something, it's like a switch went off in her head. I'd never seen Olivia get like that. Some of the teenagers were watching too, they saw everything. A couple challenged her once I ran out of cash, and sure enough, she ended up clearing house all afternoon. It was all she'd talk about at school all week until we would go back for more. Only took like a month for her to be recognized as some local champion. Sometime along the way, people started calling her Hot Wheels. Don't remember really who or when, but I do know it's proof she got that fire in her. Wow, yeah, I had fun back then. Guess I forgot I wasn't supposed to bring it up. Things really have changed that much. And you did it again. Damien hisses to himself. Sorry. You just can't help yourself. But you're right, that was the best time of my life. The name Hot Wheels belongs to 10-year-old me, not current me. Hey, that's a great story. To be recognized so well that you get a cool nickname, it sounds amazing. Being a champion, being a winner. That was weird. Why all the disdain for the title? I'm not... What? I'm not a winner anymore. Because you go to the arcade anymore, or if it's the one thing I'm thinking of, it's like a half hour away. Olivia looks at Liz like she just recommended everyone watch the new Sticks anime. I don't know what the fuck that is. Well, if this story is anything to go by, I'd like to see you be a winner again. Olivia's breath seems to hitch for a moment. And I'm sure these guys want to see it too. Damien's the one that dragged you to our lunch table all this time, right? Look at him, he's nearly keeled over because he's afraid of losing that part of you. And Liz... I think I'd like to see why you and Damien are really close friends. Yeah. Just as quick as I gained the bravado to speak up, my words left me immediately. I think I accidentally put Olivia on the spot there. Whoops. Well... Her tail rolls along the ground a bit in contemplation. If you guys really care that much about it, I wouldn't mind it from you guys. All at once, Damien lights up. Yes! Alright, Hot Wheels is back. You guys refers to Liz and Inko. Haha! Damien's shoulders drop for a moment, but he quickly recovers. Hey, if we're getting the name out again, we should go visit the arcade together sometime. I'd rather not. Okay, then how about a better name, like Death Roll? That works on 2 levels, because she's in a wheelchair, and alligators do that to kill people. Olivia swings her tail around to trip him, but he's fast enough to jump over it. Damien's words flood out as he contemplates new nicknames for Olivia to try and appease her, many of which are shot down by her or leave Liz and I chuckling. No. The Hot Wheels incident is no more! Gradually, our giggles died down and the 4 of us chatted a bit more about the day in general. Eventually, Damien and Liz headed their respective ways, with Olivia deciding to stick around. Most of the school is filtered out to their various homebound rides or to their after-school activities, leaving Olivia and I all alone. Hey, I'll roll with you. Really? I mean, I don't mind, of course. It's nothing. House is only a few blocks away anyway. Besides, I'm sure someone would beat you up and take your lunch money if I didn't. There's plenty of time to make it to the next train, so the 2 of us take it easy. The sun finally managed to break through the autumn clouds, making the walk almost unseasonably warm. Man, I thought the last day of summer was weeks ago. Ha! It was. I don't mind it staying warm longer, though. Feels pretty great to me. Olivia gives her chair an extra hard push, letting herself glide by unaided for long enough to stretch out her arms to bask in the sunlight. I might have figured you'd like the heat. Oh, what, because I'm a dino? No, not like that. I'm just playing. Relax. You're pretty touchy on that stuff, aren't you? The 2 of us finally make it to the train platform, nestled as if it was off the main street. I can see the train a few blocks away, our walk timed up with its arrival perfectly. I just think it's important to be educated is all. Even if you're, the only human at our school? Olivia flashes me a cheeky grin as my train pulls up. I've got to admit, but her mischievous nature is a little infectious. As the train doors open, I leave Olivia with one final jab, something I know she'd appreciate. Hey, whatever you say, Hot Wheels. I neatly dodge out of the way of her slashing claws, stepping smartly onto the train as the doors close. Inko, you son of a bitch! Get back here! As the doors ding shut behind me, I can see an irate and still blushing Olivia waving her fist at the train as it begins to pull away. Still giggling, I managed to squeeze myself into the seat next to a yellow-scaled woman smelling faintly of hot dogs. You know, I may pay for that comment later, but the look on her face was totally worth it. No, we're over it. Good. Thank God. As the school year progresses, the days start to feel like they're moving along much faster. Part of it might be the change of the season, however slight that change may be. While the calendar says it's officially fall, the only thing I've really noticed was the increasing number of clouds in the sky. Better safe than sorry, though, which is why I brought my fancy compact carbon fiber umbrella. Still, things have started to be routine for me in the mornings. Wake up, throw on clothes, consider eating breakfast before realizing I'd wrecked my stomach, walk to the station with the Featherlight umbrella in my hand. And wouldn't you know it, I end up having another chat with Mr. Ferris on the ride to school. Hello, Mr. Nito. How are you this morning? Doing fine, sir. Thank you. And how are you? Doing well. So my niece told me over the weekend that you and Olivia were in a predicament of some sort. Yeah, Olivia was being picked on by someone, but it's not a problem anymore. I see. Well, that's unfortunate to hear, and strange considering the substantial funding the school gets for anti-student harassment programs. What good is all that tax money if classmates are still ragging on each other? If it means anything, Olivia knows how to handle herself. I was there to support her. That's fine, but the issue is this sort of thing shouldn't be happening to begin with. Ahem. That aside, Liz has gotten somewhat enthusiastic recently regarding Olivia. She's surprised at how animated she's gotten. Ever since that get-together at Randall's place, I think. I'd wager you'd have something to do with that, no? Maybe a little. Yeah, it was certainly rocky in the beginning, but we've been warming up to each other. It's nice seeing a different side of her, even if it's brief. I don't know, can I take credit for that? We all have unique chances to make a change, Inko. If you're good at grasping them, then that in itself is something to be proud of. How do you know it's really a chance to do anything? He lets out a deep, reverberating chuckle. Well, to flip our usual script and let you in an old phrase, a friend of mine once told me, if you see a fork in the road, take it. Yeah? Thanks, Mr. Ferris. Aww. Everything's just so bubbly. I can't wait for shit to hit the fan again. Like my mornings, the school days have become a routine as well. Slave through PE with Damien, see Olivia's new doodles and sketches in art class, watch Liz lose her mind tutoring Damien at lunch, talk shop with Ben, though now I have to avoid Mia like the plague because she's surely out to kill me. All said, I think St. Hammond has been my best school experience out of... Man, I've lost count of how often I've moved. Must be the fresh head trauma. As for today... Oh, fuck. It's been raining pretty often here recently, so Coach Sully made us play more dodgeball in the gym. Mia was definitely gunning for me with the way she launched them at me with the speed of a catapult. I rest in Latican's class, popping my spine against the curve of the chair. Dude, that is best chiropractor known to man is them goddamn chairs. Apparently today's a short day because of the summer assembly, so the period will end much earlier than usual. It also means we got most of the period to slack off, do homework. I glanced at the desk next to me in hopes of catching Olivia's latest artistic masterpiece when I noticed she's not drawing and instead only fidgeting. Hey Olivia, you seem a bit nervous. Everything alright? Sorry, it's just that I've been hearing rumors that the school's shared drive might have been corrupted. Wait, really? Yeah. How would something like that happen? Not sure, but I'm scared that it might have messed up with the art contest submissions. I think you should check on your entry on the website just to make sure it's okay. Technology, don't fail me now. With urgency, I take out my phone and type in the school's website. Fast fingers lead me to the art contest tab. Can this loading bar go any slower? Finally, the page loads in and... Oh. Looks like the submissions have been closed. What? I hold the phone up for Olivia to show her the page. The submissions had been closed since voting started last week. Oh. Sheesh, I thought Latican had spooked me. Olivia's all seized up. Well, that's quite reassuring. With the submission closed, there's no chance any hacker messed with them. Olivia doesn't seem convinced, still drumming her fingers on the desk. Hopefully she'll feel loads better when the preliminary winners are revealed. Speaking of which, when are we... As the bell sounds, the class begins to pack their things and Latican corrals everybody into a single file line. Alright everybody, we have an assigned rows, so stick together. Before I join the rest of the line, I look back at Olivia, who seems to be stalling. Come on, I'll walk with you. That seems to stir something in her, and she glances up to me while hastily shoving a notebook into her bag. Yeah, I'm coming. As we head out the door, I notice Olivia shuffling her hoodie a lot. She gonna release a fucking pack rabbit? It's not a long walk to the auditorium, and despite Latican's best attempts, most of the class splinters off to sit with their friends. Having expected this, he shrugs and makes his way over to the back of the auditorium where the other teachers are. Fair. Olivia and I are left into the struggling crowd, trying to filter into the cramped theater of the school. It's going to be difficult finding some seats. It's fine, I have a spot. Olivia wheels herself down the pathway, to which I follow suit. She heads down the aisle until we're at the first row seats. There's a vacant spot where a seat typically would be with a faded handicap sign. Olivia parks her chair into the empty spot, so I take the seat next to her. Best seats in the house, right? Can't complain. As the hall fills with more students, my anticipation rises. Oh man, I can't hardly wait for the announcements. So, do you think I have a chance? Huh? Oh, maybe. Photography isn't super popular, but... Olivia folds her hands on her lap, staring straight ahead as her voice trails off. I knew that, but I'm still hopeful. Hey guys! I have to remind myself that this is normal. Hey Liz! I can't believe it's finally here. Gosh, I'm so excited. Me too. By the way, where's Damien? Hey guys! I'm over here! Damien's in the far back of the auditorium yelling and waving his hands in the air to catch our attention. He's gonna get in trouble for that. Frills! Sit down! Damien immediately stops and takes his seat. With tempered expectations, we both sit in silence for just a few minutes before Principal Scalar walks on stage, taps on a standing microphone. Okay, everyone, I've got a whole bunch of important announcements to make, so I'll make them quick so we can all have an early lunch. As soon as the idea of getting an early lunch is brought up by Principal Scalar, the entire room goes silent as a vigil. I guess when it comes to an early lunch, it's serious business. Over the next 15 minutes, Principal Scalar goes over important events coming up in the school year. Most I would consider standard things like pep rallies for sports teams or bake sales to fundraise for upcoming field trips, and even something about new clubs being formed, such as the Japanese Animation Appreciation Society. I'm sorry, did that... Japanese Appreciation... It spells Jap. Okay, anyway. Not the best acronym, if I had to say. Otherwise, it all mostly boring housekeeping stuff with one got right down to it. I almost wonder why such announcements warranted an assembly when the mood suddenly shifts with Scalar's next big announcement. Now that we got all the main stuff out of the way, I've saved the best announcement for last. St. Hammond is proud to announce the 5 semifinalists for the annual Fresh Start Art Contest. Yet I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited for the reveal of just who made it to the semifinals. Maybe I was giving myself a bit too much credit, but I really wanted to be among those semifinalists. I can almost taste victory. In fact, I turned to face Olivia and prepared to cheer alongside her, but I'm stopped in my tracks when I noticed that, unlike the rest of her peers, Olivia seemed to be uneasy about the prospect. Almost scared, even. Before I can ask Olivia why her sudden change in mood, Scalar continues with her next words, cutting my train of thought off. And here we have the 5 semifinalists. The pieces of the 5 skillful students that had been beaten all the other competitors came up, followed by the names of the victors right above them. Alas, I see no photography submission in sight. At least I gave it a shot, right? Aw, man, I didn't make it in. Liz's neck droops down like a melancholic noodle. I can't help but feel pity for the bummed-out Brachiosaurus. Bzz, bzz. Checking my phone, I see. Tell Liz to come back here, bro. I'm sure Damien's got that handled. Despite my sullied mood, I look back to the semi-final winners and can't help but be amazed by them. Each artwork is impressive in their own right, their colors blending wonderfully and the figures beautifully designed. It's easy to see why these were voted as the winners. The last one especially catches my eye. The scenic landscape with the setting sun looks stunning. If not for the slight stylization of the skyline and fantastic color palette, they could probably pass off as a real photograph with some filters pasted over it. I'm no art critic yet, but if I were, I'd label it as a masterpiece and easily be the best out of them all. Let's give our winners a big round of applause. The auditorium fills with the usual kind of clapping one would expect at an event like this. Polite with an underlying tone of disinterest, though one person felt compelled to constantly make a piercingly high whistle. We will be displaying the winners' art pieces in room 237. You're welcome to view them during lunch and after school today. Oh, neato! Principal Scalar continues the rest of the assembly, announcing other events for the school and other minor reminders. Behind me, I see the teachers start psyching themselves up for the Herculean task of getting some 200 hungry dinosaur teenagers out of the room towards lunch without getting anyone killed. Principal Scalar finishes and waves back to them to signal it's time. Alright, we're going to start a journey to lunch. You all know how this goes, so no just going for the exit. Being in the first row, we're the first to get up. Oh boy, maybe we can actually eat today. I follow behind Olivia until we make it to the hall. Hey, Olivia. She stops and turns a bit. Jeez, is she still anxious about the sight thing earlier? She looks a little pale. I wanted to check out the winning paintings a bit more. Want to come along? She considers for a moment. No, go on without me. I need to use the restroom. Alright, I'll see you at the lunch table then. Olivia nods and starts off down the hall, following the flow of students towards the lunchroom. Let's see, the principal said it was in room 237. Oh shit, and everyone's already fucking here, even though we were the first row. First thing I noticed walking into the classroom was the amount of people checking out the gallery. While I didn't expect it to be filled to the brim with eager students, there's a decent amount of people here, about a baker's dozen or so. Maybe more will come when they finish up their lunches. Well, I'm here now, let's take a look at the lucky winners. The pieces are all set on easels in the back of the classroom. Some desks and chairs are moved closer to the front to give each one its own space. One by one, I take a moment to give each canvas a thorough review. The auditorium screen really didn't give the art justice, because now I can really take in the detail of each one by being up close. The color palettes, the brushwork, the subtle nuances. Yeah, I can definitely see all of them having a good shot at getting first prize. But now it's time to see the one I've been eager to look at since it was first shown. From what I recall from Latican's lessons, it's made with acrylics, explaining why the color of it seems more vibrant. It stands out in defiance of the other paintings in the contest, most of which are either violently absurdist and meaningless, or muted still lifes of ordinary objects. It's a meadow of mystifying colors, the organic lines drawing the viewer deeper into the piece, and I feel as though this would be a place I'd wake up to within a fantastical dream. There's no rigid structure or forced metaphors here, just a fantastic merger of creative expressionism and real-world beauty. I feel my fingers itching for the familiar weight of my DSLR. This is the piece that I want to immortalize in my portfolio. It's hands down the winner of the contest in my eyes. I simply must find out who made this. Looks like this breathtaking show of artistic talent was created by semi-finalist winner... What? Huh? Oh! Hang on a fucking second. The fucking bitch... Did Olivia paint this and put our name on it? That's a problem. Ah, Inko, I'm glad you swung by. Looks like you're admiring the art contest entries. I told you that St. Hammond's artistic programs are unparalleled. That's not mine. What's not yours? I try to say more, but the words won't leave my mouth. Ben's eyes follow mine to the bottom of the painting in front of me, and I watch as he makes the same realization as I do. Inko, you didn't. Did you paint this? I had no idea your style was so developed, so humble. If I had known, that's not my entry. It's not? No, mine was a photograph. But what's your name doing on this one? Must be some kind of mistake. A million scenarios come to mind. They must have gotten the wrong name somehow. If they did, I think the real artist would have come forward by now. Then the submissions website must be hacked or broken. But our school checks for stuff like that. If it was, we would have known by now. Then, Ingo, are you sure you didn't submit somebody else's piece by accident? Of course I didn't. Why would I do something like that? You're the only one who can log into your account. Suddenly, everything stops. My account. Did somebody... Look, relax, alright? We can get this sorted out. Just don't panic. Ben lowers his voice. But Inko, just to be clear... What? You didn't just get a bit of extra help, right? Ben looks at me through the edge of his glasses, eye to eye. There's some real stakes in the contest. Cheating is taken seriously. Especially fraud. The word echoes around inside me. Fraud. It makes my bones chill. There's ingenuine, faker, liar. They're all bad in different ways, but fraud is just dripping with frigid condemnation. No, I swear I submitted a photograph. Ben relaxes his shoulders. Alright, just making sure. Sorry to alarm you. It's perturbing how he can quickly go from deadly serious to jovial with it like a flipped switch. You gonna be alright? Sorry, I need some air. Hey, feel free. I'll let Skeller know, okay? Yeah, thanks, Ben. No problem. Take it easy. Ben offers me an earnest smile, waving at me as he steps out of the room and down the hall. After some time, I follow him, shambling down the hall as I try to make sense of what just happened. My guess is Olivia fucking did that because she didn't want anyone to be sad about it. I thought everybody actually liked my photography, but all they thought I was just some kind of expert painter instead. I don't even know how to express it. I feel empty. I thought maybe my hard work was finally paying off, but I submitted the right entry, so what happened? Did somebody change it? And if so, how? It's such a good piece, too. What even is there to be gained by putting my name on it? I wander aimlessly through the halls. The thought of missing lunch passes through my mind, but there's a different sort of emptiness pervading my stomach. Why is this rattling me like this? And it's not like I'm in trouble or anything. Ben's helping me sort this out. I'm at a loss of what to even think right now. Oh, crap. Olivia mentioned something about server issues before. I couldn't see my submission, but was that it? Maybe Olivia was right to be worried. Well, duh. Why else would she be so nervous? My aimless walking leads me outside the principal's office in the gala. There's that one cityscape painting from the start of the school year. The very first painting I ever saw here, and still one of the best. A vibrant cityscape that morphs the rigid structure of urban planning into a soft and inviting utopia, as if viewed from the eyes of a child. The sky above the city is a beautiful shade of crimson, with radiant clouds clustered along its length. If the art contest submission was the best painting I've ever seen, then this one comes close. I can only imagine the accolades she must have gotten for painting this back then. You know, for a while, I got to have that experience. I got to step in the shoes of an artist much better than myself. Maybe that was the intent. All the praise, approval, everything I've been wanting. Just for a while it was given by an anonymous stranger. Whoever that may be. Actually, this gives me a bit of an idea. If I'm clever and Olivia's up for it, this can be a cool way to get her to show off her painting more. Everyone would like that. Maybe that's what she needs. I could act as, like, a personal publisher for her, so she doesn't have to deal with people. Wait a second. I peel down the empty hallway. I need to find Olivia. She couldn't possibly. But why me? Why would she... Thinking about it only increases my worries and desperation to find who I hope to Raptor Jesus isn't the culprit. I haphazardly check all the places where Olivia could be, but I can't find her anywhere. My hunt for the Baroxen leads me to the second floor of the atrium. Feels like there's a lead brick in the pit of my stomach as I internalize my current situation. The soft pattering of rain hitting the window grabs my attention to see a gloom-covered Volgacodera outside. I am not a fucking dinoologist. My eyes wander along the school's pathway covered in mud thanks to the early rainfall. Wait a minute. Those look like tracks in the mud. I burst through the main entrance doors and met with the feelings of droplets hitting my head. Outside, a dark overcast has rolled in. The forecast called for on and off rain during the day, but pretty gnarly clouds. Makes it almost dusk around. Crap, what am I wasting time for? I follow the trail with urgency, fearing that the rain will wash it away. Looks like it goes down the whole pathway. I ignore my clothes becoming progressively damp and the water collecting on my shades. Eventually, I round the curve that leads to the bridge and I see a distressing item at its end. Oh. A wheelchair. Olivia's wheelchair. Empty of the occupant, toppled on its side. A new fear grips at me, born from the mental imagery provided by that sight. Those cruel thoughts push me up the steps faster. Faster than humanly possible, even as my rational mind tries to reassure me. Running across the deck, my breath is caught in my throat when I reach the middle. She's on the ground, head slumped down. There's damaged and soaked school supplies scattered all over the walkway. Oh God, is she okay? My foot shifts, trying to force me closer. Slowly, her head lifts up to the sound of my shoes squelching on the floor. Inko? Her tear-stained eyes stare at me with dead expression and her voice sounds weak. Olivia? I feel like I can finally breathe again. Slowly, Olivia pushes herself up, and I notice she's lying atop a pile of paper shreddings. The feeling of relief slowly fades away, and I remember just why I was looking for her. We stay silent, only staring at each other as the rain continues to bear down on us. She simply sits there, letting herself grow more and more soaked from the rain. Do you want to talk? No, not out in the open. I grab my compact umbrella from my backpack and unfurl it. It doesn't do much to dry Olivia off, but at least she's not getting more soaked. The umbrella is placed between us and the elements against the ledge, forming a personal canopy above us. Here, now we're alone. There's space next to Olivia to take a seat. It's odd. We've sat together before, but sitting on the ground in the rain. The room is just a little claustrophobic. There's bits of paper melted on the pavement, soaked by rain. Though torn apart and waterlogged, I can sort of make out a tree. A rough sketch of one, anyway. Like the one that stood prominently in my foul submission. So, you did do it. Nico, please, I can explain. I didn't have a choice. What? I know what I did was wrong, but I didn't have any other way. It wasn't a choice to trick me, to not trick me. She avoids looking at me, focusing on the scraps of paper scattered around the floor like confetti. It wasn't to trick you, I just... I get it, you're mad at me. I'm not mad. I'm just confused. Thought we were good friends. I wasn't expecting you. She pauses to give her throat some respite. Her usual water bottle isn't anywhere nearby. A shaky breath escapes her mouth. When you came around, I thought you were no different than the others. That you were some self-centered, pretentious midwit who only cares about his image. That's when I got the idea of using you to swap out your art with mine. You didn't seem like the kind of person who cared about how he gets the attention from others, just that he gets it. Her description of my character feels really reductive, but the ache in my chest tells me it hits a little too close to home. That's not what I think of you now. Latikin's the one person I can trust. So when he went to bat for you, saying we'd make good friends, I was worried. What's so special about this guy? I honestly got scared he'd be wrong, that you'd just be like everyone else, and I'd be setting myself up for failure. But worse than that, Inko, I was afraid he'd be right, and I'd have to face what I'd done to myself. And now I've gone and done something like this. Switching my contest entry? She nods, swallowing hard. I wasn't thinking. Suddenly, everything was out of balance. Everything I'd created, all my work, my own little world was suddenly changing, and I had no control over it. I just had to do something. I didn't know I was doing that. I'm sorry. She stops to process my words and continues. I knew I'd get caught. It's stupid. I was hoping for it, even. Someone to figure out that it was swapped so it would be changed and everyone would be none the wiser. She turns to face me with silver eyes welled with tears. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. I just don't want to go back to being the person I used to be. The person who didn't care about hurting you. Her head tilts downward with a violent hitch of breath. Ivory claws extend and grip at her knees in a painful display, and yet Olivia chokes back any sound she'd make. Her body shudders with every heavy breath from her, and I realize that every last defensive barrier she had was completely gone. Olivia's laid herself bare, leaving only the crying girl desperately trying to silence her pitiful tears. But why do all this, or I can't hate you? I'll just do that one. Faced with those unbidden words from Olivia, I'd have to be a heartless bastard to do anything but accept her apology. It's clear that the guilt has been rotting in her conscience ever since. What she did was wrong, no doubt about it. But then again, thinking of her circumstances, how can I blame her? How could anyone? I probably would have ended up having to do the same thing in her shoes. At this point, Olivia's put herself through enough stress as is. If there's one thing she needs to hear right now, it's that I can forgive her. I don't hate you, Olivia. You don't? No, I don't. I won't lie. I definitely felt hurt when I first found out. But the fact that you're willing to admit to your mistakes shows that you're growing as a person. I'm really glad to hear that we're friends. It's refreshing to hear her say it. I was worried she was only putting up with me. Olivia seems understandably puzzled over my lack of anger towards her. I figured you'd be more upset. Is this just your pity? If so, I don't want it. It's not pity, Olivia. I'm accepting your apology. I don't want you to feel guilty about it. The sooner we can put this behind us, the better. But I can tell you're a good person, so don't worry about it, alright? I offer her my best smile. Olivia slowly nods. When you put it that way, I guess. But still, truth be told, I deserve to fail. To actually face consequences. I'm such a fucking fraud. All over a damn painting. Olivia, you did what you thought you had to do. And you're saying sorry for the consequences. That's all that matters. I scooch closer to Olivia. Huh? That was you taking action in a way I would have never guessed. Crime of passion, I think it's called. Probably wrong, but she gets the idea. The world runs on those. You don't need to change. I don't think you did anything wrong. She leans her head against the wall of the railing before looking at me with a half smile. Thanks. You're right. I'm just throwing everything away like an idiot. I'm just scared. I'm here with you. I coax the rest of the tired grin from her, and she looks down at the shredded papers again. After that, after everything was said and done, things became quiet. Beneath the solace of my umbrella, we relaxed together. At least until Olivia begins shifting uncomfortably. I sit and watch as she takes her calves and shifts them to her side with one hand. Her tail comes around and presses into the paper-filled floor before her, keeping her upright as she starts to lean forward. Finally, with the strength of her tail in one arm, Olivia lifts her hips from the floor and swings her shins fully beneath her. She smiles as she kneels over me. You just gonna sit there? Crap, I guess I was gawking stupidly. But it's just so fascinating seeing the girl maneuver herself in these odd yet well-practiced ways. I'm kind of jealous, actually. I wish I had a tail to do some things she could. I pressed my hands on the floor and pushed myself up. I don't know why I had thought to stand, but instead I shifted myself to a kneeling position too. We're face to face now. Aww! For a split second I feared the worst as Olivia drew me into a hug. I don't know what she would do, but I like this. For how strong her arms are, how they're wrapped around my chest feels exceptionally tender. My own arms have enveloped her, returning the embrace in a similarly soft way. And as her arms loosen, I draw back. Though I don't want to take my hands off her. That was nice. Don't make it weird! Sorry about that. Though the sound of rainfall hitting the umbrella, my ears suddenly pick up the noise of what was sounding like squeaking. I look down and see that there's something shuffling in Olivia's pocket. It is a fucking mouse! A little beast emerges from its hiding spot with a squeaky yawn, to which Olivia offers her hand for it to use as a platform. Hey, little guy, nearly forgot about you. Had a nice nap? That's a rat! Oh, right, you two haven't met yet. Inko, this is Guts. Guts, meet Inko. Hi, Guts. I awkwardly wave at the apprehensive-looking rodent. Olivia lifts Guts to her shoulder gracefully, like her hand is an elevator for him. You brought him to school? Well, yeah, I just really needed him today, since, all the crap that's happened. She gives Guts a few scratches under his chin. I bring him sometimes when things get rough. And nobody noticed? You haven't. Touché. Latican did once. He just told me to not let him run around the school, otherwise it'd be considered a health hazard or something. The tardy bell rings out in the distance. We're late for our next classes. I'm sure Latican will understand. We should probably get back to class. Here, hold this. I give Olivia the umbrella so she and the rat can stay dry while I go fetch the wheelchair. I did it! I hugged the fucking gator, bro! I did it! But now it's settled some into the mud. This wheelchair has definitely seen better days. After dusting off the dirt and cooling the water the best I can, I make my way back. Thanks. She offers the umbrella back, but I make sure to hold it above her. I keep the wheelchair steady with one hand as Olivia climbs into the seat, using her tail to help herself up. We stand in the rain in silence for a moment, only sharing content gazes. So what do we do about the contest now? It's a good question. Ben was there when I saw my name on the painting. He already knew and went to tell someone. So like you said, no harm, no foul. What about your own submission? I ruined it. I scratched the back of my head. I wouldn't have won anyway. It's just a picture. Oh. I thought it was pretty okay. Hearing those words from Olivia sends a strange flash of heat to my face. It's not unpleasant, but again, those honest words from her really do cut through for some reason. Thanks. A loud squeak draws my eyes to Guts as he stands atop Olivia's shoulder. You too. A wary smile stretches over Olivia's face. I think it means Guts is saying it's actually so-so. Hey! Cut him some slack, Guts. Inko didn't have any time to make anything for the contest. He's got some high standards. Yep, that's why I've gotten so good. The sheer absurdity of it. I don't know which of us broke first, but our laughter fills the air, heard only by us as the rainfall cuts off all other noise. So, what now? I don't know. I don't want to go yet. Still pretty worn out. Worn out. A smile crosses my face as a wicked idea comes to mind. Well, too bad! What? I walk around behind Olivia, grinning like a mad idiot. Inko, what are you doing? Inko! Inko! Her head tries to follow me as I stand behind her, right behind her chair. I figured that pushing your chair around is really tiring, so how about I help you out? Olivia blushes and looks away. Fine, but just for today. Returning to the campus was certainly awkward. Passers-by shoot us looks. It's not the most common scene to see a girl in a wheelchair just rolling and sopping wet and tracking in mud. More likely, though, it was because said girl had taken to using my umbrella to hide herself from those looks. She was already extremely red in her face. It was a conundrum. Drop the umbrella and let people see her, or keep it up and draw more attention. I shall name it the Nito Theorem. She's gonna kill me if I ever attempt to publish it. Making our way back to Olivia's current class, she simply shook her still concealed head. I didn't really have much of a choice from all that I knew of the girl. Her last classes were all on the upper levels. And she wasn't in possession of the elevator key. And I was in possession of the weakest knees here in St. Hammond, at least according to Coach Sully. So I wheeled her up to my current photography class. On the way over, she keeps bending her neck back to peek at me, like she's making sure I'm still there. Knocking on his closed door, the Torosaurus professor didn't even bat an eye to the poorly hidden girl. He simply stepped aside and let us through. Ben was looking our way, but I chose to pay him no mind. After everything I'd heard, Olivia didn't even register he was here. She simply rolled herself to the back of the classroom and threw a door into what I always guessed was Latikin's supply closet. You know what? I'm an idiot. It's a dark room, isn't it? The stares of my other classmates abated, thankfully, as our teacher continued his lecture. Taking my own seat, I focused on Latikin. As much as I could, at least. My muddled thoughts kept me distracted the whole period. Just before the bell rings, Latikin stares me dead in the eye. He points a stern finger at me, and then to the floor to the signal, "You stay." Alright, everybody. We're going to stop this episode here. I feel absolutely elated. We hugged the fucking gator. Thank God. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but we did it. Yeah. I'm excited about that. That was heartfelt. I don't know. That hurts a little bit. But it all works out, so it's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Please tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and I will see all you know bros later. Peace for now. Bye!